In mid-2026, Indian youth faced a compounding crisis of economic precarity. Between a shrinking job market and the frustration surrounding the NEET UG paper leaks, the path to a stable professional life appeared increasingly blocked for millions. This economic anxiety found a literal counterpart in the physical decay of public institutions. On May 12th, a doctor at a premier Delhi hospital discovered a cockroach in the mess food. The hospital's casual response to the hygiene failure triggered immediate outrage among overworked resident doctors. This institutional rot is a regional theme. In Pakistan's Parliament House, cafeterias were repeatedly sealed for vermin infestations, including a 2025 incident that forced the cancellation of catering contracts. Across the subcontinent, the presence of pests in elite spaces had become a symbol of bureaucratic negligence. On May 15, 2026, during a Supreme Court hearing, the Chief Justice characterized unemployed youth activists as cockroaches who don't have a place in a profession but enter social media to attack the system. The response was almost instantaneous. Digital activists reclaimed the insult and launched the Cockroach Janata Party. This growth curve shows the result, a trajectory that climbed from 15,000 initial signups to over 100,000 members in just 72 hours. For a generation navigating corporate layoffs and exam scandals, earnest outrage often feels ineffective. By adopting a demeaning label as an ironic badge of resilience, they transformed a term of exclusion into a tool of collective resistance. The movement was orchestrated by Abhijit Bipke, a public relations postgraduate with a background in digital political communication. Using his experience building meme avalanches for the Aam Aadmi Party, Dipke deployed the party's digital infrastructure, website, and AI-generated anthems in a single weekend. Reclaiming dehumanizing language is a tactical choice. In 2018, Amit Shah was criticized for calling immigrants termites that were eating the grain of the poor. By adopting the cockroach label themselves, the youth preemptively stripped the insult of its power to exclude them from the public sphere. The party's formal platform uses weaponized satire to deliver legitimate constitutional critiques through absurd, hyper-punitive rhetoric. The manifesto demands a total ban on post-retirement executive appointments for judges, 50% gender parity in parliament without adding seats, and canceling broadcast licenses for major media conglomerates to break their concentrated power. This manifesto delivers a targeted critique of democratic structural gaps. Wrapping these demands in comedy creates a platform that is difficult for traditional institutions to ignore or suppress. To move beyond digital rhetoric, the CJP transitioned into physical, real-world action. On May 18th, youth volunteers organized a public intervention that replaced typical protest slogans with civic service. Volunteers wearing cockroach costumes gathered on the banks of the Yamuna River to conduct a garbage cleanup. They performed the labor of clearing the accumulated waste and colorful plastic debris that had gathered along the shoreline. The physical protest acted as a visual metaphor for the party's core argument. If the state views the youth as pests that thrive in filth, the volunteers respond by publicly taking on the labor of cleaning the systemic neglect that the state has ignored. The party's rapid growth quickly attracted mainstream political actors. Opposition figures, including Trinamool Congress MP Mahua Moitra, publicly engaged with the platform on social media, with Moitra declaring herself a member of the satirical movement. Politician Kirti Azad also expressed interest in joining, prompting a satirical exchange regarding his qualifications. While this boosted the CJP's profile, it also exposed the movement to partisan fractures, as critics began analyzing the party as a potential front for existing opposition interests. This decentralized swarm model faces significant limitations. It relies on asynchronous digital consumption and lacks the regional chapters, funding, and disciplined hierarchy required to sustain long-term pressure on the state or contest formal elections. Analysts describe this as a blanket revolution, a metaphor for political resistance redesigned to be instant and highly consumable. It satisfies an immediate emotional urge for rebellion, but often disperses as quickly as the next algorithmic trend arrives. Ultimately, the Cockroach Janata Party is a symptom of a deep generational disconnect. This viral rise proves a digitally native generation can instantly repackage institutional condescension into a coordinated national narrative.